Tom Brady to the San Francisco 49ers? Could it really happen? Not only could it happen, it must happen. The dream pairing of Tom Brady and Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers, Tom Brady finally getting an opportunity to play for his childhood team. It might happen in 2022. 49ers fans, get excited because Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, the GOAT, TB12, may be your quarterback in 2022. And this is why I think it makes all the sense in the world. Before I discuss the 49ers and Tom Brady for 2022, make sure that you do spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more BLV news just like this. Also, get in the comments, do you think the Brady Niners pairing would work out? Do you think they would be the favorites to win the Super Bowl in 2022? Or do you think there might be a flaw in this pairing? Let me know in the comment section below. Tom Brady and the 49ers. There are rumors, and where there is smoke, there is always, to follow, fire. Before we discuss why it is a perfect match, we must discuss the motivations of both sides because that is essential before we can discuss the actual product on the field. First, with Tom Brady. Everybody knows that he has retired. Now first, the retirement. Is it actually a real thing? Now, he did retire from the Bucs. Did he retire from the NFL? That is another question completely. But we have now learned that there might have been a bit of friction between the Bucs coach, Bruce Arians, and Tom Brady. Or at least Tom Brady didn't like the way Bruce Arians handled this past season. And I don't blame him because I felt Bruce Arians held back Tampa Bay and that Bucs team numerous times on numerous occasions. Tom Brady witnessed Bill Belichick for 20 plus years. He understands a great coach. He understands the effort, the passion, and the detail that a great coach comes with. Kyle Shanahan is also that type of coach. Bruce Arians, on the other hand, not exactly. There are stories leaking that it was a lot of Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady, and that Bruce Arians was along for the ride, and Tom Brady had it no longer. He could also kind of read that the team might be in a little bit of a transition and is not going to be quite the same roster-wise as it was before. So Tom Brady said, I'm going to retire. But the motivation lies with Tom Brady because Tom Brady has said many times that he will continue to play until he sucks. And quite frankly, Tom Brady does not suck right now. He doesn't just not suck. He is arguably the best quarterback in the game at the moment. At least last year he was, with the most yards and the most touchdowns in the game. Tom Brady, quite frankly, should have been the MVP of 2021. He won 8 games throwing 40 plus times. That's ludicrous. That does not happen. Quarterbacks do not achieve that. And Tom Brady at 44 was playing lights out. Some of his best ball of his career. So could Tom Brady join a new team? I think it's open to be discussed. But there's only one team that makes sense for Tom Brady from a personal standpoint. He's been in New England. He's done that. He became the GOAT in New England. He achieved all that he could. He won 6 bowls there, 6 rings there. In Tampa Bay, he solidified why he's the greatest of all time. He left Bill Belichick and proved to himself and to everybody else that he was the greatest inside or outside of that system. Won a Super Bowl in the first season. Took the losing culture of the Bucs and flipped it upside down and made them a winner. But the only team that Tom Brady would like to play for is one that he has always wanted to play for. And that is the team of his childhood. Who wouldn't want to play with your favorite team from your childhood? The hometown. That is the 49ers. He grew up, he loved Joe Montana. He loved Steve Young. He was inspired by those players, specifically Joe Montana. And now he wants to go home. He wants to be close to his parents. He wants to be able to be surrounded by the love for the final season in his NFL historic, prestigious career. And what a better way to do that than with the 49ers? That would just be special, absolutely. So the motivation there is 100% real because the 49ers have a talented team. They have plenty of players that make a ton of sense to join forces with Tom Brady, and that would be great with Tom Brady. You look at George Kittle, who's a phenomenal talent at tight end. Who is better with tight ends than Tom Brady? Not only that, you've got Deebo Samuel, who is a hybrid special playmaker at the slot receiver position. Also plays a little bit of running back. But Tom Brady has always had a great rapport with those type of receivers. Wes Welker was one of them. Tom Brady could get the best out of a young wide receiver like Brandon Ayuk to stretch the field down the field. A left tackle in Trent Williams who can protect the blind side. A veteran center in Alex Mack who he can have great chemistry and be able to play that chess with at the line of scrimmage. Defense is strong. He can rely on them. A veteran kicker who can make the big kick when he needs it. All the pieces are there for Tom Brady. He knows this. He understands this. He knows how good the team would be with him there. And he's got a great coach, an offensive-minded coach that would put him in a position to succeed. All of the pieces in San Francisco would mesh with Tom Brady. But why does it make sense for San Francisco? Well, it's quite simple. I get it. Trey Lance. I get it. You don't want to have him sit another year. But let's face it. Is Trey Lance going to be better than Tom Brady in 2022? Absolutely, positively not. Not even close. Could Trey Lance be maybe as good as Jimmy G was last year, or maybe even a little bit better? Possibly. In a dream world, he could be better than Jimmy was, and he could be phenomenal, and he could turn out to be a stud franchise quarterback in his first year. It could happen. The chances of it happening are pretty slim. Not saying he's not going to be a good player at any point, but him being Tom Brady is a different story. You're getting an elite quarterback. Maybe he's not the best next year, but he's still top 5. He's at least top 10 at 45 years old. And he is going to make everybody better. He's going to make Trey Lance better because Trey Lance is going to watch Tom Brady. Trey Lance is going to watch how he performs with his mechanics, be able to work on his mechanics close to Tom Brady, be able to work on his mental game close to Tom Brady, being in the same meeting rooms as Tom Brady, helping Tom Brady prepare for games for a full season, seeing how he goes about his business, seeing how he leads a team. How important would that be to Trey Lance? How crucial and impactful would that be for a young player? It would make Kyle Shanahan a better coach because he would be able to be around on a day-to-day basis a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's never had that opportunity. Now, Matt Ryan was very, very good. He's not Tom Brady. Kyle Shanahan has never been around a quarterback of this stature. And then learning what Tom Brady has learned all these years from Bill Belichick and Bruce Arians and company. So that would just make this entire organization better. It would help Deebo Samuel. It would help George Kittle. It would help everybody in that locker room just as it did for Tampa Bay. It would legitimize them even more than they've already been legitimized. Also, the 49ers have to realize the opportunity that is right in front of them. The NFC right now is extremely weak. It's right there for the taking. The NFC, the Los Angeles Rams are your Super Bowl champs, but they will not repeat. We have to understand that they're not going to be as good as they were last year. And that being said, the Niners beat them 2 out of 3 games. Now, they lost the important one, but they kind of have that upper hand in this rivalry. The 49ers look to be ascending, especially if they get a guy like Tom Brady, who would immensely improve their biggest weakness from a year ago, the quarterback position. And really the reason the Niners didn't beat the Rams was the quarterback position. If you put Tom Brady on that field versus the Rams, there's no question who wins the Super Bowl. There's no question who's the better team. It's the 49ers. No question. A massive source of motivation for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. They saw one season, Stafford, with the Rams, Super Bowl win. They just saw the Bucs do the same thing with Brady. It makes too much sense for Shanahan to be like, you know what, it's my turn. I'm going to get this quarterback. We've already seen Brady do it on another team. 1 year in, win a Super Bowl. He's going to come to my team, and I'm going to destroy the Rams. That's what they've got to be thinking, Lynch and Shanahan. And honestly, I'm watching the Super Bowl. I'm watching the NFC Championship. And I'm saying Kyle Shanahan is absolutely the better coach here. And he didn't win the Super Bowl. And Sean McVay, even though he didn't have a good performance in the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl because a quarterback allowed him to do so. It allowed him way more opportunity and way more opportunity for error. And I believe that Shanahan and Lynch now understand this. They may not have understood this a couple years ago, and that's totally understandable. But now the NFL understands that you can get a veteran quarterback and you can win right away. And it's worth the gamble, because at the end of the day, the gamble could mean a Super Bowl championship. And whenever you can put yourself in a position to be the favorite to win a Super Bowl, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you try to win a Super Bowl? Because at the end of the day, the NFL is not about style points. It's not about doing it the traditional way. It's about winning. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's about winning. Get that ring with Tom Brady, even if it's just for a year. That experience. So Trey Lance, you can take a seat for one more year. You can learn from the GOAT, and you can get better in the process. And we can learn what you are in year 3 or year 4. That is perfectly okay. Tom Brady, if he wants to play for you, you've got to accept that invitation, because you've already declined it once and you understood what happened. He went to another team. He won the Super Bowl. After all, Tom Brady basically wins a Super Bowl 50% of the time. Every second year he wins a Super Bowl, and last time I checked, he lost the Super Bowl this past year. He didn't make it. So probably if he plays another year, he's going to win that Super Bowl. And he's going to want to put all of his resources and all of his power and all of his passion into his final season to get that ring. Not only that, but Tom Brady would bring along a lot of interesting names to your football team. You could potentially add Rob Gronkowski onto George Kittle in a 2 tight end set that would be absolutely historic. On top of Kyle Juszczyk at fullback, that would be something special that I'm sure Kyle Shanahan would love. You may be able to draw other free agents, just for example, like a Stephon Gilmore at the corner position, a position that's pretty weak, that might be hard to get if you don't have Tom Brady and you've got a rookie. But if you have a Tom Brady, okay, let's add a veteran corner to help us win a Super Bowl, Stephon Gilmore at our weakest position. That might benefit you quite a bit. Just having Tom Brady on your team is going to bring free agents to you at a cheaper rate and going to help you win over the next 2 to 3 years. That goes past even the existence of Brady on your team. So Tom Brady is immensely huge and valuable to any team that he would play for, especially a team like the Niners, who are in a win now window. Yes, Trey Lance can be great down the road, 4 years from now, 3 years from now, even 2 years from now. You need to win now. You don't know what's going to happen to your team. You don't know who's going to get hurt. You don't know how players are going to change, how they're going to regress, how they're going to progress. These contracts are going to change your team, how the chemistry of your team is going to change, how the coaching staff of your team is going to change. Look, DeMeco Ryans, you're lucky you still have him. I thought he was going to be gone this offseason, and he might only be here for one more year. And what's going to happen to your defense when he leaves? So there's a lot of questions each and every year that you've got to fulfill and you've got to check every year, and you don't know how that's going to go down. So try to win right now. It's a season-by-season league in the NFL. And Tom Brady allows you to do that. The Niners' legendary quarterbacks, Joe Montana and Steve Young, both came out with comments on Trey Lance, and I found them very interesting. Joe Montana was kind of pretty negative, and something specific he said was very interesting to me. He actually brought up speaking with some of the players on the team. He said, I don't think Trey's ready to play, after talking to some of the players. So he has some sort of inside information from those players inside the locker room that might have gotten the sense that Trey Lance is still a far ways away from playing. And if that's the case, you can't go into next year as one of the biggest contenders with one of the best rosters in the NFL and have a quarterback that's not ready to get you to a championship level. Again, he might be good, he might be solid, but is he a championship quarterback? It's going to be tough for me to say yes with those type of comments. On top of that, you've got Steve Young, who said if Trey was ready, he would be playing. He would have played. You've got to listen to these legends who have been around the game and probably have some sort of insider information from the players in the locker room and their confidence in this guy. Of course, Shanahan, Lynch, they know better than anybody. They've seen a ton of practices. They understand what he's like in the meeting rooms. This is not supposed to be a negative towards Trey Lance. We're comparing him to Tom Brady. Okay, people have got to understand this. If you can get Tom Brady for 1 year and let Trey Lance develop for 1 more year, you do it. You absolutely do it without a blink, without a second of thought. That is the move. That is the move that must happen. And you look at this team, if they got Tom Brady, they're absolutely my number 1 team to win the Super Bowl. There's not even a question. They're talented on both sides of the football. They've got great balance. They've got great weapons on top of a quarterback that would know how to utilize them to their utmost best abilities. Shanahan and Brady would be something special on the offensive side of the ball from a mental capacity and standpoint. I just feel like this would be a home run for both sides. For Brady for his last season, for the Niners to compete for that ring. And it's the perfect season to do it because the NFC is wide open and it is very weak. Even at the top, there are not a lot of contenders. Aaron Rodgers is pouting in Green Bay, and you guys know you always whoop him. And then on top of that, the Rams, as we've discussed, the Cowboys, they're the Cowboys. Like, who is really in the NFC to compete with? Tom Brady left the Bucs. This is the year to do it. If you were to make a move like this in any season, it's got to be this season because of that NFC and because of the opportunity that resides for the last season with the GOAT. Let me know if you would love to see one final run from Tom Brady and if you would love it to be with the 49ers. Let me know in the comment section below how you would feel about Kyle Shanahan and Tom Brady teaming up in San Francisco and if you think this is actually a possibility. Obviously, I have no real idea. The contract situation, I'm sure Tom Brady would be willing to accept whatever comes his way. I don't think he's going to be super picky. If he plays one more year, it's more about the passion, love for the game, and to win a ring more than anything else. I don't think money is a huge deal to him. More so, it would just be a great experience for Tom Brady. It would be a great experience for the Brady family, and I feel like it would be an amazing experience for the NFL and for the 49ers. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Mitch. I hope this happens. We'll see. Only time will tell. Gronk, spike that like button. Subscribe for more. Peace.